Let's call this meeting of the Mortgage Insurance Committee meeting to order.
I'd like to request a motion and a second to call to order the May 12, 2016 meeting of the Sunny May Mortgage Insurance Committee. The motion and second recorded will be used for all action items before the committee unless specific items call for a different vote or unless any committee member wishes to record his or her vote differently. I have a motion and a second.
Second.
The minutes of the meeting of the Mortgage Insurance Committee held on April 14, 2016 shall be deemed approved, absent corrections from the directors.
The meeting will move to the Mortgage Insurance Committee Program Action Items. Item 2, resolution recommending the approval of 100% mortgage insurance on a $20,800,000 HFA permanent first mortgage loan for St. Barnabas Wellness Care and Affordable Housing, 4511 and 4439 3rd Avenue, Bronx County.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This project encompasses the development of 34 low and very low income units, of which 95 will be supportive housing units for formerly homeless tenants. And the supportive services will be provided by Bronx Pro. The borrowing entity will establish a capitalized reserve of $337,000 at closing, make additional annual contributions of $22,500 to fund social services. The project rental structure on the bottom of page 3, the top of page 4, shows that there are many very low income units, Medicaid redesign team units and HBD hour space units with incomes as low as 19 and 23% of AMI. The project is being developed by L&M Development Partners, which is an experienced developer of affordable housing. And this will be the 9th loan that Sunny May has insured for entities controlled by L&M Development Partners with total exposure of $93 million. The insured loan amount is only $66,000 per unit, which equals 14% of the project's total development cost of $458,000 per unit. And the project would break even with a pro forma 11% vacancy and collection loss or a 10% increase in operating expenses. St. Barnabas Hospital will lease the entire 47,000 square foot community medical facility space for the full 30-year term of the mortgage, with an annual initial rent of $640,000. And if St. Barnabas were to default on the lease, the project would have negative annual cash flow of $368,000. And this risk is somewhat mitigated by L&M Development Partners executing a master lease for the space or providing a guarantee of the lease for the full 30 years. And L&M will fund an operating reserve of $85,000 per annum and will warranty to keep at least $5 million in liquidity within L&M Development Partners.
Any questions?
The resolution before the Mortgage Insurance Committee is recommending approval of mortgage insurance and a commitment for the provision thereof for St. Barnabas Wellness Care and Affordable Housing, 4511 and 4439 3rd Avenue, Bronx County. Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried.
Item 3, resolution recommending approval of 100% mortgage insurance on the $15,710,000 HFA permanent first mortgage loan for CERC 21, 2920 to 2940 West 21st Street, Brooklyn, Kings County.
This project comprises the mod rehab of 2 Mitchell-Lama buildings built in 1977 with 224 units. 189 units are reserved for tenants with incomes up to 60% of the AMI, and 35 units are reserved for tenants with income up to 95% of the AMI. The project is owned and will continue to be owned by Starrett, which is an experienced and well-regarded owner-operator of affordable housing. The insured loan amount is only $50,000 per unit, which equals 22% of the project's total development cost of $227,000 per unit, net of assumed debt. The project would break even with a 9% pro forma increase in operating expenses or a 12% pro forma vacancy rate.
Any questions?
The resolution before the Mortgage Insurance Committee is recommending approval of mortgage insurance and a commitment for the provision thereof for SURF 21, 2920 to 2940 West 21st Street, Brooklyn, Kings County. Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried.
Item 4, resolution recommending approval of 100% mortgage insurance on a $7,850,000 HFA permanent first mortgage loan for East 162nd Street Court, 294 East 162nd Street, Bronx, Bronx County.
This project comprises the development of 126 low and mod-income units, of which 37 will be supportive housing units for formerly homeless tenants. The supportive services will be provided by Palladia Inc. and Services for the Underserved, both experienced providers of supportive housing services. We've seen them before on projects financed by OMH. The development entity on this project, as with item 2, is L&M Development Partners. The insured loan amount is $62,000 per unit, which equals 14% of the project's total development cost of $451,000 per unit. And the project would break even with an 8% increase in pro forma operating expenses or a 10% vacancy rate. The project, as with item 2, the project will be managed by C&C Apartment Management, which is owned by L&M.
Question?
The resolution before the Mortgage Insurance Committee is recommending approval of mortgage insurance and a commitment for the provision thereof for East 162nd Street Court, 294 East 162nd Street, Bronx, Bronx County. Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried.
Item 5, resolution approving 100% mortgage insurance on a $4,440,000 CPC permanent first mortgage loan for Cardinal Court Apartments, 40 to 44 Cannon Street, Poughkeepsie, Dutchess County.
This project comprises the rehab of 49 low and mod-income units in Poughkeepsie. Units will be reserved for families earning between 50 and 90% of the AMI, and rents will be set at levels between 50 and 90% of AMI. There will be a regulatory agreement with the Dutchess County Home Agency. In addition to the insured first mortgage, there's Housing Trust Fund Main Street grant of $500,000 and $250,000 Dutchess County home grant. The development entity is controlled by Sunil Gupta, who's a repeat CPC and Sunny Mae borrower. The insured loan amount is $90,000 per unit, which equals 64% of the project's total development cost of $140,000 per unit. The project would break even with a pro forma 23% vacancy loss or a 52% increase in operating expenses, and would have positive cash flow of 1.11 times with all of the commercial space vacant. And this is the second loan that we've insured for entities controlled by Sunil Gupta.
Questions?
The resolution before the Mortgage Insurance Committee is approving mortgage insurance and a commitment for the provision thereof for Cardinal Court Apartments, 40 to 44 Cannon Street, Poughkeepsie, Dutchess County. Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. The motion is carried.
Item 6. Resolution approving 100% mortgage insurance on a $3,534,194 CPC permanent first mortgage loan for 541, 547, and 553 Lincoln Place, Brooklyn, Kings County.
This project comprises the rehab of 54 low and mod income units, which will be restricted to tenants earning between 65 and 100% of AMI, although the rents will be appreciably lower, set between 65 and 68% of AMI. The development entity is controlled by Steve Zervudis, who's a repeat CPC Sunny Mae borrower, and this will be the ninth loan we've insured for entities controlled by him, but our total exposure is only $27 million. The insured loan amount is $65,500 per unit, which equals 83% of the project's total development cost of $79,000 per unit. And there'll be $290,000 in developer equity in the project. The project would break even with a 29% increase in pro forma operating expenses or a 20% vacancy rate. We don't have an appraisal yet on this, and one of the conditions precedent to issuing a commitment will be to obtain an appraisal showing a loan-to-value ratio not greater than 80%.
Questions?
The resolution before the Mortgage Insurance Committee is approving mortgage insurance and a commitment for the provision thereof for 541, 547, and 553 Lincoln Place, Brooklyn, Kings County. Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. And the motion is carried.
Item 7, information items.
The mortgage recording tax in April was $16,207,000. The prior month in March, it was $16,700,000. Preceding month, it was $14,300,000. So we seem to be on a good trajectory in terms of mortgage recording taxes.
What does it look like year to year?
Last year, it was $189 million. The prior year it was $167 million, and the 2 years prior was $154 million. So it had gotten as low as $64 million back in 2010. And we're back to where we were sort of in the good old days in 06 and 07.
Any other questions? No further business. Motion to adjourn.
Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.